welcome everybody to the Town of Babylon Zoning Board of Appeals. Please listen to the rules and procedures that will follow for tonight's meeting.
Good evening, and welcome to tonight's meeting of the Town of Babylon Zoning Board of Appeals. The following is the procedure that will be followed tonight. The matters will be called in the order they appear on the calendar, with adjourned matters being called at the end of the regularly scheduled matters. Matters cannot be heard prior to their published scheduled time. When your matter is called, please submit the affidavit of posting to the secretary and proceed to the podium and give your name and address. The chairperson will then swear you in and read into the record information we have from your application, comments from various town departments, and any correspondence received on your application. The chairperson will then ask you to make whatever presentation you wish to make to the board. After you have made your presentation, the board will ask whatever questions the board deems appropriate, and then we will ask for comments from the public. If you wish to speak for or against an application, we ask that you wait until you're acknowledged. Come forward, give us your name and address, tell us where your property is in relation to the property that's in question tonight, and then please direct your comments to the board, not the applicant or the applicant's representative. We have to keep a record, and we cannot do that if there are people talking over each other or cross conversations. If someone has spoken for or against an application, and they have said exactly the same thing that you wish to say, it will have the same force and effect in the record if you give your name and address, are sworn in, and say that you join in those comments. If you have anything additional to say, please don't hesitate to do so, but keep in mind that you will be given only one opportunity to speak. After the public has spoken, the board may ask the applicant to come back to answer any questions that may have come up as a result of the public comments, or for the applicant to summarize. When the applicant comes back to answer any additional questions, if that happens, that does not start a second round of public comments. Once the matter has been heard, various things may occur. The board may decide the application immediately. It may reserve decision. If the board reserves decision, that does not mean the matter is approved or denied. It just means that the board needs more time to decide, may want to go out and look at the site again, or might want to review the documents and testimony further before making a decision. In either event, the applicant will receive the board's decision in writing shortly after the board makes its decision. If the application is approved, that does not mean that you can then go ahead and start construction or whatever it is that you requested from the board. You will have to wait for the building permit to be obtained from the building department before your go-ahead. On some occasions, the matter may be continued for another night. If it is continued, in most cases it will be for the submission of documents, a new survey, new plans, or something of that nature. If that's the case, no one needs to come back on the new date. The documents will be submitted and no further testimony will be taken. On rare occasions, a matter may be continued for future testimony. If that's the case, then people would have to come back to testify. If matters are adjourned at an open meeting on the scheduled date of hearing, no further notice need be given unless specifically required by the board on the date the adjournment is granted. 3 rules that may affect your ability to proceed tonight. 1. If the sign was not posted for 10 days, we cannot hold the hearing tonight. 2. If you commence this proceeding while you own the property, but no longer own the property, and you are here now to continue with the application, you will need either the written consent of the new owner or the new owner to be present for the hearing. This situation could come about if you sold your house or building, money was held in escrow at closing for a certificate of occupancy or permit, and you're here tonight to clear that up. Lastly, if your application is a commercial application and it's other than a renewal, and there is more than one tenant in the building, then you need your landlord to be here. Is there any applicant that has any difficulty with those situations and would need an adjournment tonight?
Is there anyone that need an adjournment? Please rise and join the board in Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First application tonight is application 2657 of Lori Farina, trustee Anne Marie Gaspeck, Family Trust, property located in North Babylon. Name and address for the record, please.
Kathleen McHenry, Long Island Permits, P.O. Box 5, Center, Mauritius, New York, 11934. Good
And
evening.
do you affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
For the record, we have a planning division memo dated April 22nd, 2026, environmental control memo dated April 29th, 2026. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. We have a survey by AJC Land Surveying dated January 13th, 2026. Plans by Joseph Michael Grazer, architect, date, no date, 7 photographs, and an affidavit of posting.
And Mr. Chairman, for the record, items number 2 and 3 in your correspondence, we have 2 letters of support. And if we could amend variance number 1, it should read to diminish the east side yard setback from 10 to 7.9.
I'll make a motion to amend application 2657 on the first variance, permission to diminish east side yard.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Would you like to tell us about the application?
This is a family home. Miss Gasparek has recently passed away. To the best of the family's knowledge, this deck has been in existence for over 20 years. The existing home was constructed in 1962. As the planning report states, the deck is located in line with the existing dwelling, which also holds a reduced setback of 7.9. Again, as the planning report mentions, a deck on grade is not feasible due to the home being split level. In looking at the GIS aerials, it appears many homes in the area also have diminished setbacks. 44 Independence Avenue has a deck with a diminished west side setback. 90 Independence Avenue has a deck with a diminished east side setback. 100 Independence Avenue with both west and east side yard setbacks. And 119 Independence Avenue has a huge deck with no rear setback or west side setback. These findings are also verified by the planning report. We have submitted for the board's consideration a letter from the neighbor to the east as well as the neighbor to the west. Both letters are in support of the variance application being approved. I also have the originals if the board wishes them submitted. We believe the relief we are seeking is minor in nature and agree with the planning report that the application is in character with the surrounding properties. I welcome any questions the board may have at this time.
Okay, thank you. Turn the hearing over to Mr. Shepherd.
Good evening, how are you?
Good, how are you?
So, I'm assuming that we're preparing the property for sale?
They haven't mentioned it to me, but I'm assuming they're getting at least affairs in order.
So, all right, is that what brings you here tonight? I'm curious to know what brings you here tonight. What instigated this?
The family, I guess, settling the estate and realizing that certain things weren't permitted.
Okay. Would you agree that the rear yard deck not be further enclosed?
Absolutely.
I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. Good.
Approved as amended.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve application 26-57 as amended with the condition the rear deck not be enclosed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, have a good evening.
Oh, boy. What's his last name? Next application is application 2656 of Joseph and Teresa Aricchio, property located in Deer Park. There you go. Name and address for the record, please.
Amy DeVito, Woodhull Expediting, with offices at 800 Veterans Memorial Highway, Hauppauge, New York.
And do you affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
For the record, we have a planning division memo dated April 22nd, 2026. Environmental control memo dated April 27th, 2026. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. We have a survey by William Simmons dated August 9th, 2025, and we have plans by William Simmons dated August 9th, 2025. 6 photographs, and we have an affidavit of, and we have the affidavit of posting. We just need to amend on this application, take out on wall in connection with and the outside cellar entrance is to be deleted. Wait, I got more.
Need variances 5 and 6.
Thank you. Okay. Now second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Nikki and Nick for that.
Okay, would you like to tell us about the application?
I'd actually like to further amend the application to remove the required variance for the small shed, which is the 6.4 by 8-foot shed, the vinyl shed located in the side yard. My client's going to be removing the shed.
Okay, what is that?
Yeah, that'd be variance number 4.
Okay. We'll make a mo,
We need updated lot coverage as well. I believe that was included.
Lot coverage is included, which this would obviously make it more conforming than it
we're gonna have
was.
to recalculate that.
So we're gonna have to, you have a revised plan with that shed being removed?
I don't. The shed isn't removed yet. It will be removed as part of this process. I could certainly have the surveyor make a note and then recalculate the lot coverage. That wouldn't be an issue.
Okay, so we'll hold off on amending the application until that's received.
Okay. With that said, so we're here today to request a variance for the existing 6-foot vinyl fence that is located on the property. Because this is a corner lot with 2 front yards, the fence is in the required or the secondary front yard. It's a 6-foot vinyl fence. It is located approximately 10 to 12 feet from the edge of pavement, so it's not creating any obstruction as far as any moving or passing traffic. The pool is being proposed in the front yard as well. The reason being, there's only about a 30-foot rear yard setback from the point of the house to the what would be the north lot line. We did discuss with the client possibly moving the pool to a more conforming location, which would bring it basically right where you see the paver patio. The hardship with this is that the purpose of the pool is for his grandchildren. He's their primary caretaker during the day, so he's putting the pool in for their enjoyment, and he wants to avoid having the pool directly out of the rear doorway. So placing it in the secondary front yard on Union Avenue would keep it away from the rear of the house. He's also going to be erecting a fence from the point of, which would be the northeast corner of the foundation, directly across going north to the north fence line to keep the pool separated and basically with a locked gate on that part of the property. We did submit photos of the larger shed for the board to see. It is on a foundation, so it would be difficult to move. So we are requesting to maintain the shed in its current location. And again, we would be proposing to remove the small vinyl shed from the property. There is number 40 Haight Street, which is directly across. They appear to have a pool in their secondary front yard, along with a 6-foot vinyl fence on their property. I'm unsure if this was approved by this board or not. I'm assuming that if it was done with a permit, obviously it would have had to have been. But in this situation, definitely not uncommon for the neighborhood. Also, again, because it's a corner lot with limited room to place a pool behind the house, we are requesting to have the pool in the secondary front yard. And I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Okay, thank you. Turn the hearing over to Mr. Montiglio.
Good evening, how are you?
Good evening.
Okay, you answered the question about the pool, about possibly putting it in the backyard to be for a better location. It is feasible to have back there. I mean, it can fit, it will fit. I mean, you could put the fence the way you want still, and it still would be fenced in.
Well, if we were to put the pool, we have to maintain at least 10 feet from the house for purposes of not having issues with the existing foundation. So, and in any event, even if we were to keep it in a conforming location and 6 feet from the property line, it would only be about 10 or 12 feet from the rear of the house. Again, I understand that it's possible. It's just for safety reasons for the, property owner's grandchildren, it is just not preferred. And again, it's not an unusual request on this kind of corner lot to have a pool placed in a secondary front yard. We could move the pool slightly over. I think right now we're at 8 feet. I did discuss with the client maybe cutting into the patio a little bit and bringing it to maybe 10 feet off of the Union Avenue side of the property line, if the board would be agreeable to that.
Another question here I would should ask is that you're taking out the outside cellar entrance. Is that going to be different plans at all?
So the outside cellar entrance is legal under a CO. When the individual who prepared the denial originally put everything together, they didn't realize that there was a CO. There's a CO for a finished basement with a cellar entrance.
What do you have down there? You have a kitchen and bathroom?
Yeah, which he's removing. We had an inspection, and our plans that we'll be submitting do show that it's being removed.
Okay. The sheds were installed. What was that one shed installed, the largest shed that you're keeping?
It appears in the aerials at least 10 years ago, so it's been there for quite a while.
I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I do just want to add that we were able to do a little bit of research just based on old grants that are, listed on the website. There was a pool that was approved on a front street line where 40 feet was required and 12.6 feet was granted. This was known as case number 26-30, and it's not in the immediate neighborhood, but obviously within the township of Babylon. So this was an application known as Wayne Leggett, 18 Governor Avenue in West Babylon. So I'm just trying to say that it's not completely unusual for the board to grant such a request.
Okay. And that was approved by this board?
Yes, it was.
They had extenuating circumstances.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
I have one, Mr. Chairman. Did you say you're taking the kitchen out and the bathroom?
The bathroom is going to stay. The kitchen's being removed.
It'll be a two-piece?
So yes, and it's going to revert back to what it was originally approved as, which was basically a recreation area in the basement.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the board?
Did we go over the recommended conditions?
Okay. If this application was approved, would you agree to the following conditions? The shed was ever taken down, disrepair, and was built in a confirming location?
Absolutely. I read through Ms. Riley's recommendations.
No further increase in building on the permitted. All pavers and patios must maintain a minimum of 2 feet setback on all property lines. A two-piece bathroom only permitted in the basement. No cooking facilities in the basement, and no accessory apartment in the basement.
Yes, we are agreeable to all.
Thank you.
Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. We're going to close the hearing. We're going to reserve decision. You'll get the decision in the mail.
The record's going to be open.
And the record's going to be open for recalculating the lot coverage.
Yes, just a quick question. Katie, do I send that to you?
You can submit it through the portal, and you can send a message, and we'll review it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Next application is application 2658 of Jason Lambretti and Amanda Perdone, property located in Deer Park. Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, Charles Brody, 30 Bethesda Lane, Sayville, New York, architect representing the property owner.
You affirm to tell the truth?
I'm
You
sorry?
affirm to tell the truth? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, yes, absolutely.
For the record, we have a planning division memo dated April 22nd, 2026, environmental control memo dated April 27th, 2026. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. We have a survey by Scalise Land Surveying dated May 16th, 2024. Plans by Charles S. Brody, by you, dated February 4th, 2025. We have 6 photographs. We have the affidavit of posting, and we need to amend this application. Also, number 2 would read a diminished east side yard setback. We need to amend that. On number 3 would read diminished distance to rear lot line. And on number 4, diminish distance to rear lot line.
Second.
2 to 0.2, so it had to be.
From 8 feet to 2 feet.
Oh, okay.
Nikki and John check that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. What would you like to tell us about the application?
Okay, yes. Excuse me, I would like to also maybe amend the one item with the small shed to make that conform, relocate that.
Oh, so you want to delete variance number 4?
Yes.
You're gonna, okay. Okay, so I'll make a motion to delete variance number 4, diminish distance to rear lot line from 2 to 0.2.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay, as stated, the homeowner is seeking permission to construct a one-story side addition with a non-conforming front yard setback of 24.3 feet, a one-story rear addition with a non-conforming side yard setback. That addition will be in line with part of the side of the house, and that would be at 6 feet. With regard to the garage, I just wanted to bring that up, that the proposed garage is not 580 square feet. It is actually 551. I think the math was done incorrectly. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. The front,
Garage is still going to be oversized.
yes, so,
That wasn't advertised.
no, that wasn't advertised, so I just wanted to let you, the board know that it wasn't as large as it was saying it was. So with respect to the garage, we will diminish that size down to 500 square feet.
That you will? bring it
Yes.
Down to 500 square feet?
Correct.
Okay.
With respect to the front roof over porch, that will remain open and not enclosed.
Anything else?
No, that's it, thank you.
Turn the hearing over to Mr. Monteglio again.
Good evening, how are you?
Hi.
Okay, you answered the question about the garage. It also has an overhead garage door to the back of the house.
Yes,
What's the need,
correct.
what's the need for that and the purpose?
That is for the riding mower to come out the back of the garage, and not have to move the cars that are in the garage to go out the front.
Can this only be redesigned at all for the existing 24.3 front yard setback?
Well, it will be set back a little further, because the 24.3 is to the existing front yard.
Okay.
And then if we remove what I need to remove for the garage, it'll set it back another 2.5 feet.
All right, if this application was approved, would you, the following conditions, if the shed's ever in disrepair or taken down, be built in conforming location?
Yes,
The front porch never be enclosed, like you said?
correct,
And no commercial work permitted in the garage whatsoever?
correct. Yeah.
I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from the board?
No.
Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none.
I would recommend additional conditions that the garage be reduced to a conforming size and that the smaller shed be,
Do we want to see plans on that? or-
that's up to you guys.
Yeah, I think we're going to need to see plans on this showing the garage at the 500 square feet.
Okay,
Dated plans?
yeah, to file, absolutely.
All right.
So it's basically removing the 2.5 feet of the front of the garage.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to close the hearing, close and reserve, keep the,
Somebody wanted to speak.
oh, I'm sorry, somebody can in? Somebody want to be heard? Oh, okay, come on up. We almost missed you. Name and address for the record?
Oh, Jason Lamberti, 143 Oak Street. That's for me.
Oh, so are you in favor of this application?
Well, yeah, no, I just say the sheds, you were talking about the sheds. Once the garage is up, the sheds are gone, so
Okay,
you don't have to worry about the sheds.
Are you?
I'm just doing that because I don't have a garage.
Are you removing both of these sheds or just one of them?
I could remove both of them, whatever's easier. It's just I don't have a
So you
garage.
need a variance for both of them, so it's just,
I can remove them then, that's fine.
you want to remove the big shed too?
I can
Which is
remove both
really
of them,
an
yeah.
accessory building?
Once I have a garage, that's fine. One's got a mower, the other one has bicycles and paddle boards and
Okay,
all types of stuff that don't need to be in there.
you are reducing the size of the garage now, so just make sure that you would be okay removing the other.
Yeah,
that
that's
you're
fine.
reducing that size.
good.
Whatever's easier, yep.
Okay, so I'll make a motion on application 2658 to eliminate variance number 3 for the accessory building. All in favor?
Aye.
Right?
Okay.
So you're closing the
We're
hearing.
going to close the hearing, reserve decision, keep the record open for new plans. So when you get us those plans showing the garage down to the 500 square feet, then we can move the application.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next application is application 2655 of Long Island Tick and Mosquito Control LLC, property located in Amityville. Name and address for the record.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Gerard Glass, 72 East Main Street in Babylon.
Okay. For the record, we have a planning division memo dated April 22nd, 2026. Environmental control memo dated April 27th, 2026. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A fire marshal's report dated April 13th, 2026. This office has no objections. Suffolk County Planning dated April 28th, 2026. Decision of local determination. Take no position for or against. A survey by Russell Lewis dated July 30th, 2024, was updated June 18th, 25. Plans by Lab Crew Engineering dated July 24, 9 photographs, and we have the affidavit of posting.
And we just need to amend this application for the applicant information of Long Island Tick and Mosquito Control LLC.
Amended to what?
And just, it wasn't advertised with the applicant information, so we just need to include that.
Oh, okay, so the applicant information should be what? That Long Island Tick and Mosquito Controlled LLC?
That line spot right there. On that angle.
All in favor?
I'm gonna go with Marco, Mickey and Marco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Again, good evening. With me this evening is Chris Labat from Lab Crew Engineering. If you have any questions, we do not think he needs to present, but if you have any questions, he's here to answer them, as well as Pat Matthew, who is a manager of the company. The applicant is a franchisee. They have 5 other locations. The subject premises is used as administrative offices and warehouse. This application was caused by complaints when they first moved in back in 2024. The complaints were that employees were parking in the street. The complaints were justified. Employees were parking in the street. They immediately complied. It was when they were moving in, at the very beginning stages. Planning and the building inspectors told them, you need to come in, you need a site plan. They complied. That site plan has since been approved by the planning board. There's certain improvements that are required by the planning board in terms of buffer zones and the like that are all agreeable to the applicant, and they will complete those improvements, as expedited as they possibly can. Since the complaints in roughly February of the winter of '24, there have been, to our knowledge, no further complaints whatsoever about this site. The use is, in fact, pretty much benign. Planning says that we need variances for storage and parking. Honestly, they're completely cooperative. They're here to comply with whatever reasonable requests are made by the town. I'm not so sure those variances are required, but we're here anyway, and we're submitting to the jurisdiction of the board. And the reason I say that is because this building was CO'd as warehouse with an office. Nothing has changed. The use itself is permitted. This is a permitted use in the zoning district. It's G industry. The problem is, it's kind of an oddity sometimes that this happens in, all over the island where you have industry next to residential, very close. It's also next to a bus depot. So when you see cars parked, there are cars parked up and down that block right now. They're legally parked. They're not ours. They have been strictly enforcing this to make sure they're not ours, and they have sufficient parking, so it's really not an issue. But there is a CO in your file for G industry for warehouse. New York Pump occupied the premises. The reason that I'm not so sure that we need a variance is because if the use is identical, it's office and warehouse. Notwithstanding, we're here to push this through. The code calculations, I think, are probably all the same. There could be some angle that planning has that I'm not seeing, but notwithstanding that, the variance, as you hear, the business operation, which planning is recommending we describe to you in their memo, I think will convince you that none is really that offensive if you choose to grant it. This is a 15,000 square foot building. On it sits a 3,500 square foot warehouse. One of the aspects of the relief is not just the parking variant. They're saying we need relief on the 213-175 of your code. 213-175 of your code does not apply to this situation because we do not store materials outside. And if you look at that section of the code, it applies to materials, not what we store outside, which really are, in an exchange situation, vehicles associated with the building, the business. They're minivans, they're small trucks. That's all they use. So in terms of issues, there have been no complaints and there are no issues involving noise, odors. They spin off a nominal amount of refuse. At the planning board hearing, there were some concerns from some of the residents regarding the storage of chemicals. It's all done in compliance with the DEC, the health department. We have been an open book with the various town departments that have expressed interest and given them complete lists of the chemicals, their volatility. None of it has been a concern other than the town departments asking questions and we providing the answers. This use is a lot better than many that could go at this location that are permitted industrial uses. Why? It's largely seasonal. From October to May, these winter months, colder months, there's no mosquito issues, there's no tick issues, so they only operate with a skeletal crew. In terms of the use of the minivans and small pickups, there are 12 that are stored on site. There are 13 spots. It's an exchange. Employee brings his car in, grabs the truck or the minivan, and off they go. At the end of the day, they bring it back, take their car, and they leave. There are only 2 employees typically on site, even at peak season. They don't take retail customers. It's all online. There are 8 transient spots, so they have a surplus of parking. Generally, there are several open spots, with no issue. We agree with all the planning department recommendations. The only one that is problematic is this request that we come back in a year. And the reason I say that is because, one, our position is technically, really, we shouldn't be here. We are. But we think that you can resolve that a different way. This is small business. These applications cost money. We have put a boatload of unexpected money in this site to comply with the site plan requirements and to improve the building as the town has asked us to do. This recall feature, costs money. They're going to have to bring me out. It's a franchise. They want to make sure they're represented. It takes time, applications. They're going to have to have somebody's going to have to expedite it. So what I would say is, rather than that, we have no problem and respect the board's right to insist on compliance with these conditions. We respect the board's right to insist that we get along with our neighbors, and most importantly, we get along with the residential neighbors. But what I would suggest you do is instead put a recall feature in it. If there is a problem, you have the right to call us in for a hearing at any time. We agree to that, because if they can't comply, they shouldn't be there. I have nothing further. If you have questions of me or our engineer, we're happy to answer them.
Thank you. Turn the hearing over to Mr. Perotti.
Good evening, how you doing?
Hi.
I did drive by a site, it was well kept. So you're only gonna have 2 employees on site?
Generally, two.
So just 2 vehicles? What
Two
about
vehicles, what happens is the 12 of those 13 spots that are the outdoor storage portion of the site plan, employees come and bring their car and exchange it for the truck or minivan and leave.
Okay, and so then you did mention no materials or chemicals on outside storage, correct?
None outside, none.
Not outside, just, okay, inside.
That's it.
What are the hours?
The hours are 7 to 6, 6 days a week.
1 to 6. When I drove by, you have barbed wire fence. Do you have a permit for that?
That's a good question, because that's prohibited. I'm sure planning's going to make us take that down as part of the.
You could either apply for it or you could take it down, your choice.
We will do either or.
What do you want to do? You want to take it down or you apply for it?
I think it's going to.
It's up there
We'll
already.
take it down, they're telling me.
Take it down? Okay. And you agree to the planning memos conditions?
Yes, other than that recall, we're asking for a recall feature instead of a renewal every year.
Okay. Give me 1 second. You pretty much answered all my questions. The business plan, as far as the business,
Well, this is a franchise, so they're in the tick and mosquito control business, so it's no different than what you would expect. They come residential, commercial situations, mostly residential. They come, they spray. They're closed from typically, or reduced staff. Typically, most of the employees are laid off. That's the way these seasonal businesses operate from October to May.
and you feel you have adequate parking?
They've had no complaints at all that I'm aware of, and they've received none. They've got a few calls about the sign going up, which said, look, we're much happier with you than any of the former tenants from some of the local neighbors. But no, they've had no issues since the winter when they opened in '24.
Okay. I mean, one of the main things also, you know, being good neighbors. And it seems like so far, you're saying we haven't had any complaints in the past 2 years, besides 2024. If you can keep that up, that'd be great.
Thanks. It's their obligation. They should.
Yes. So then, the chairman, I have no more further questions.
Any other questions from the board?
I have one. Can you just describe to me the type of trucks that they're using?
Minivans and small pickups.
Thank you.
So in the warehouse, they're storing the chemicals and such, and
Yes.
whatever other materials they're
In
using?
complete compliance with the health department and DEC regulations. A lot of it's organic, none of it's flammable.
Would anyone like to be heard on this application? I'll take this lady over here first, and you can go second, okay?
Oh, so they're taking it down.
Good evening, afternoon, evening. My name is
Just for the
Tracy.
record, please.
Yes, sir. My name is Tracy, and I am at 7 St. John Street in Amityville.
And you affirm to tell the truth?
What's your last name?
Tracy Brown. I really don't have no questions because last time we was here, we wasn't talking about parking and all of that. I don't know where that came from. But I just have a concern because I said everything last time we was here. As a concerned homeowner in the residence, I know this, they might get passed anyway, but I want to put on record, as a taxpayer for 30 years in that residence and a daughter and caretaker for a 90-year-old mother with health problems, the chemicals that will be used and the waste that will be disposed. I'm not in favor of this move because of my concerns. You say it won't, well, I know last time they said there won't be no odor, no nothing, but I believe every chemicals have something in it, whether it's airborne or what. I believe it has something in it. And I am truly not for this move because of the closeness we are to it. And as I said before, my mother loves to sit on her front porch in the mornings, 9 o'clock in the mornings. And that's all I have. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am?
Good
Name and
evening.
address for the record, please.
Yes, my name is Charlene Coward, and I live right across the street from 61 Commerce Boulevard at 44 Commerce Boulevard, Amityville 11701.
You affirm to tell the truth.
Sure do.
What would you like to tell us?
I've been living in my home for 51 years on Commerce. I've been before this board before on other matters. My concern is strictly pollution, overcrowding of parking. I did get the letter in the mail in regards to being 200 feet of the company that they want, parking stalls on the premises. I know the building all too well. I was 12 years old when the building went up. But I listened to what the gentleman said, and respect of what they said, things have changed from when they first came in the community on my street. It was a problem with parking. We have homes that were newly built up, 2-family homes on Commerce where there's over people living in those homes with parking. Then we have the Total Transportation Bus Company. It's just a lot of pollution. I didn't make the last meeting that was earlier this year because of the snowstorm. My only concern would really be the chemical storage. I have a pretty good relationship with the managers and talk to the corporate office because of when they first came, it was a big problem with parking because they have long hours. They come in 6:30, 7, and then when they're especially doing like the orientation, you have so many different people coming in trying to get a job. So they come in 6:30, 7 in the morning, and sometimes they're there to 8 o'clock at night. So when they first came in, it was a lot of parking in front of my home, where I put garbage out, where I do this, and it was hard to see getting out. But I just think that this area is being more overpopulated with employees because of these businesses. However, there's a lot of pollution. There's just a lot of pollution. And my concern would be their chemical storage. It did slow down a little bit with the overcrowding of parking because I do believe they have another yard and all of the stuff like that. But I know they have good intentions, and I'm all for businesses, whatever. But I don't think they can control everything that may happen because of what I've been experiencing over the years since they came. I believe they came in March of 2023. So again, being a good neighbor matters. It goes a long way. When communication is open and you can communicate what's going on with the employees that work for this company because they hold long hours. So I guess what they are trying to do would probably help with parking stalls, except for, is these chemicals safe? Because if they're killing ticks, bees, wasps, whatever, they gotta be some kind of potent to where it's questionable for residents like myself. I have health issues as well. I don't want to long-term be exposed to something that can take me out of here before the good Lord calls me home. So if they can promise these chemicals would be confined, I think that's workable with, some of the residents. The parking has gotten a little bit better on their part because of their other site that they have, wherever that is. But I have to go along with my, the residents that live in my community with that concern of these chemicals. I don't know what the ingredients are. I don't know. But this is the last thing, and then I'll take my seat. The chemicals are on the truck, so what is the solution for that? They're on the truck. I know. I communicate with the guys, trying to be friendly, want to try to get along, but at the end of the day, our health is what matters. Because I lived there since 1975, and I want to continue to live there, where I live. So if it's something wrong, I trust the town, and I, came to see what was going on as far as what this meeting was going to be about earlier this week. And if the fire marshal says thumbs up, I would have to take the fire marshal's professionalism. But I have to also take my eyes, what I see, that these chemicals are on the trucks. So what happens? Are they empty at the end of the day? Can they say they're going to, spray it all out and start fresh the next day when they go inside the brick building and replenish to start a new day? Those are things that I think you guys really, and women, should consider. And then I would probably be at ease and have not really a big issue. Other than that, thank you for listening. I care about everybody and everything, but let's just do what's right. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Amen. You're welcome.
Ma'am?
Okay, bud.
Good evening. My name is Linda White. I live on 80 Columbus Boulevard in Amityville, the block over from Commerce.
And do you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
What would you like to tell us?
My concerns are I don't want to be repetitive with everything that everybody else has said, but as far as the chemicals, they are odorless. They don't have to necessarily have an odor to them to affect. Down the line, what happens to people that come in contact with whatever they have there? This gentleman is talking about costs of money. Well, what about cost of life? I don't know who's in whose pocket, but I've been in that house since 1933 when my grandfather built this house. And to constantly have something going on, environmental, you have children, you have elderly, you have people that made livelihoods of building their homes there. And it's like every time you turn around, there's something. It used to be the oil company, Atomic Oil Company was across the street. They made them move their trucks and only have an office. So now we have another building, another office. The last time the gentleman was here, he said that the chemicals were water soluble. What is water soluble? Can you kill a flea with something that's water soluble? Eventually, they have to clean out their trucks. He said that the trucks will be cleaned out at the resident's house or using a hose. They have to come back. They don't do chemicals every day. They don't do chemicals, change it every day. We're going to end up with some kind of runoff. And also, I was concerned about the trucks. You bring a car, you take the truck out. You bring another car, you take the truck out. Eventually, the trucks and the cars going to give off some kind of emission. So my concern is also for that. Down the line, suppose somebody gets cancer. Can we come back to the town board and say, well, I got cancer, or I got lung disease, or I got a specific disease because I was exposed to that? Who's going to pay the bills? So it's easier to say, well, I have a business, and rightfully so, you guys have your businesses. But we have, what about the cost of life? Who's going to pay for us? Who's going to look after us? Do you guys have these businesses that come into your neighborhood saying that, well, we're going to set up for mosquitoes, or we're going to set up for this? Eventually, we're going to run out, and the neighborhood's going to be industrial. What happens with that? Okay, suppose there's a fire, or suppose something comes and it is affected inside of that building. Well, sooner or later, it's going to affect us too. So who's really looking out for us? Nobody. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Would anyone else like to be heard on this application? Name and address for the record, please.
Yes, Annette Brown. I live at 25 Columbus Boulevard, the next block over. My father came to...
Do you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Go ahead.
My father came to Amityville in 1927. So when I grew up in my neighborhood, there were just homes. And later, Commerce Boulevard was built. It used to be a dump at one time. And I'm concerned about the groundwater. There's a fresh spring up where the economic EOC building is. And when you have to clean out a truck and rinse your equipment, it has to have runoff. And that runoff is going to seep into the ground and it will go into groundwater. So that's what I'm concerned about. And there's residents right there. I'm a block over, and they're right there up on next to the building. So that's what I want to relay.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would anyone else like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. Mr. Glass? Can you go over like a typical day, how this works, how they load up, how they unload?
Sure, I'm going to actually bring up,
If
as to
we can
loading
answer
and
all the questions that the residents have, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. I would suggest to you, though, we can give you an explanation of how the chemicals are handled. This is highly regulated, but it's no different than the paint store, than Home Depot, than the hardware store, the gas station, the dry cleaner. They're not sprayed on site, they're loaded. That's it. But we understand the concerns regarding emissions. And I think our manager can explain to you, the safety precautions that are required. This is not optional. The inspections that are required, they're not optional. It is industrial. Every industrial use that you can think of engages in some use of some chemicals. This is really a loading issue, I think, and an unloading issue. Can you speak briefly to, just state your name and address for the record?
Patrick Mathy, 10 4th Avenue, Rocky Point.
You affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead.
So, Patrick, how are the chemicals put on the vehicles?
Oh, each technician has to go to a specific manager, and that technician swaps out and grabs the chem from the manager and then brings it to the truck and locks it up in the toolbox.
And are these water-soluble chemicals? Like, is there a mixture where it's put in the truck and then water's added?
Yes, sir. Everything's done at the customer's house.
I see.
So nothing's mixed on site.
So they take the chemical with them?
Yes.
In a sealed container?
Yes.
And it's not mixed on site?
Correct.
Where are the chemicals stored?
In the chem cage, each chemical is underneath or above, rather, a spill kit, just in case if anything should spill, it's collected.
It's a containment area?
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay. When they leave the facility, are these in sealed containers?
Yes.
Are they mixed in the parking lot?
No.
Okay. They're only put on the truck in a sealed container?
Yes.
And then how do they get the water source from the customer's house?
No, sir, we have buffaloes or water tanks built into the trucks. So they fill up the water when they get to the shop, and then throughout the day, when they use their water, they just replenish it with the hose on the truck.
So now a vehicle comes back. Is the vehicle, what if it has chemicals left in the vehicle?
That gets taken back to the chem cage with the manager, and each equipment per protocol is not allowed to have any chem on it when it comes back in, so they know to mix on site and mix correctly.
So they use up any
Yes,
of the
sir.
chemicals when they're stored in the lot overnight till
Yes.
the next day. Are there chemicals left in the
No.
vehicle? I think I got it all.
How do you dispose of the chemicals?
Triple rinse.
Okay, and do you have any safety precautions as far as if there's a spill or what happens if there's an accident? What's the process involved in that?
Each truck has a spill kit per regulations, and we would have to notify the authorities if anything does spill.
What about in the building itself?
Everything's on a spill kit. So if we do spill, it falls into the spill kit, then you clean it up from there.
There's a containment area,
Okay.
the curb, if you will,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
So just to confirm, you're saying when they park the vehicles, when they come back overnight, there's no chemicals in the vehicle, they all come back inside the building?
Correct, yes, sir. Everything gets back and put back in the chem cage and cataloged.
Okay. And what about any, as far as spillage for groundwater or anything like that? I know one of the questions with the,
So is there any washing of the drums on
No.
site?
No.
Okay, so basically the chemicals are mixed on site, you have water that, so that there's no way they can spill when they're outside in the lot or anything?
Correct, yeah, there's no rinsate or anything.
so you don't clean the vehicles on site, you clean them somewhere else?
Well, no, we can clean the vehicle, but that's just regular vehicle maintenance, like washing the exterior of the truck and a shop vacuum like that.
If you have a spill in the containment area, what would be the procedure?
We would have to contain it with spill absorbed kitty litter or any type of material that comes prepackaged to where you put it down and soak it up.
Is that available on site in case that happens?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you have to also do if that happens in terms of reporting? You got to call DC?
Yes, sir.
What's the equipment made of? Is it stainless steel or some kind of what are the containers?
Oh, the containers are plastic. They're, I think there's some type of polymer.
And there's no rinsing or washing of any of this
No, no.
at the shop?
No, sir.
If you're going to get rid of those containers, their life is over, what do you do with them?
We have a truck that comes from Connecticut, and they pick it up and drive it back there and dispose of it through a company.
So that's like
Their problem.
containment, yeah. I think you want to,
What is a triple rinse is what my question is.
let them, they'll answer your questions when we're done, okay?
So for each job, let's just say you go to a house and the yard is 3,000 square feet, the technician knows exactly how much chemical to add for that job and then moves on to the next one?
Yes, we-
Uses just that amount of chem?
No, we go by dose rate and by the pest pressure of the year. So right now, we're at a mix of 0.5% per 1 gallon of water. So that's what they know to mix at until it gets changed with different types of pest pressure.
And is that based upon the square footage of the lot?
Yes, it's on.
How big of an area they have
yeah.
to treat?
So for every treatment that you do at each, house or business, it's all the same ratio?
Yes, sir.
And unless the levels of mosquitoes get higher or whatever,
Correct.
then your concentration goes up,
Yeah,
et cetera.
and that's how we document everything for the regulations.
Does the intensity of the dose or the mix increase as the season goes on?
Just once.
Okay.
And then once it's sprayed, is there a time where, like, let's just say you came to my house and sprayed? Am I allowed to let my dogs out right away?
That would depend upon the weather, but usually it's per label, half hour, maybe an hour, depending upon the weather conditions, the humidity, if it's hot, stuff like that.
So once you spray, let's just say 2 hours go by, it's safe to go outside.
Once everything
I don't have
dries,
to worry
put it away,
about,
right.
et cetera. Okay, thank you.
Paperwork involved, like that you would have to submit to, like, the DEC or something?
Oh, every year we have to report, yes, sir.
You report, like, on every job, and you used X amount of gallons of stuff?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
And you have to maintain records of what's used?
Correct, yes, sir. Everything gets reported into a big document that gets sent every year. It's called an annual pesticide report.
And you're subject to random inspections?
Yes.
Use manufacturer's data sheets with the equipment that come with the equipment, the chemicals?
With the chemicals, and we've shared that with the various departments, open book of the town.
Can you explain the triple rinse?
Oh, sure. Well, where do you want me to direct it, here or there?
Directed towards the
Okay, yes,
board.
sir. Sorry. When you have a bottle with insecticide in it and you're done using it, you take maybe about ½ inch of water, pour it in the bottle, shake it 3 times, and repeat that 2 to 3 times, and then you pour that in the mist blower or the piece of equipment you're using at the time, and then that's considered triple rinse, and it can be disposed of.
Okay. Thank you.
We just need your spelling of your last name for the record.
Oh, M-A-T-H-E.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
We're going to close the hearing. We're going to reserve decision. Thanks for coming down. Maybe you can just explain that triple
Happy to
rinse
talk to him
better
outside.
to the resident.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Next application is application 2644. Property located in North Amityville. What is this? Oh. SMNY QRS 1493. I thought that was like a bunch of numbers. Hold another tray.
These lists also have to be submitted to the portal as well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Going in the portal, baby. Name and address for the record, please.
Certainly. Good evening, Chairman Kane, members of the board, Keith Brown, the law firm Mr. Tillman, Ballin, Adler, and Hyman, LLP, 90 Merrick Avenue, East Meadow, New York, 11554.
Okay, thank you.
I'm here tonight on the variance application.
Hold on 1 second, let me just read the...
Sure.
For the record, we have a planning division memo dated April 22nd, 2026. Environmental control memo dated April 30th, 2026. They support the application. Fire marshal's report dated April 11th, 2026. This office has no objections. Suffolk County Planning memo dated April 9th, 2026. Decision of local determination. No, take no position for or against. We have survey by Jonathan Smith dated February 1st, 2024. Plans by Bowler Engineering dated December 23rd, 2025. 12 photographs and an affidavit of posting. What would you like to tell us about the application?
Thank you, sir. I'm here on the variance application for the applicant's project that seeks to renovate the existing building along with associated parking, landscaping, and site improvements to allow for manufacturing warehouse distribution at the current site of 1000 New Horizons Boulevard in the industrial park in North Amityville. With me tonight, to my right, we have Mr. TJ Wilkinson in the front row of Bowler, our project engineer. Behind him, to his left, is Ethan Chikoski, PE of TPD Engineering, the project traffic engineer. And next to Ethan, we have Brian Rector of BLD Architecture, the project architect. For the record, on April 23rd of this year, our office submitted the following documents in support of the application, which is the contents of the packet that I just handed out. A color site plan prepared by Bowler, an aerial plan prepared by Bowler, renderings prepared by BLD Architecture, a parking report prepared by TPD Engineering, and a precedent chart prepared by our office that includes other applications where similar variance relief was granted by this board. By way of background, the property is located in 1000 New Horizons Boulevard and is zoned in the PIP-1 district. The subject parcel has a total lot area of 17.257 acres, or 751,731 square feet, which far exceeds the minimum 1.5 acre lot area requirement of 1.5 acres to develop or alter any buildings in the underlying PIP-1 district pursuant to Town Code Section 213-319. As far as character of the area, the subject property is located in an area where the pattern development includes other industrial and commercial used parcels. Surrounding property to the south, east, and west are also zoned PIP-1. To the north of the property are smaller parcels zoned in the G Industry and E Business districts. To the north of the site, there's industrial development, including Thermo King, a transportation service, and LEB Electric, an electric installation service. To the west of the property, across from New Horizons Boulevard, is Calico Cottage, a manufacturer. Abutting the property to the east is an electric motor repair shop, Babylon Electric Motors, and industrial use properties located to the south of the property. Based on a review of the town records, a C of O was issued in 1980 for the property to be used for manufacturing and office space. Currently, the property is improved with an approximately 235,000 square foot building that until recently was occupied by GKN Aerospace Monitor, an aerospace supplier. In existing conditions, loading docks are provided on the north side of the building, and there are approximately 291 off-street parking stalls, 40 of which are situated in the front yard along New Horizons Boulevard. Site access is currently provided via one full movement driveway along southbound New Horizons. The project seeks to demolish a portion of the existing building and repurpose the site to allow for manufacturing and warehouse distribution that will accommodate up to 4 tenants. Because of the changes in the market, it's necessary, and the applicant has found that it's easier to lease out properties at the smaller square footage rather than the large 255,000 square foot building. So the application provides for more flexibility for the applicant. We note that the project is consistent with the town zoning code, as warehousing and distribution are both permitted in this zoning district pursuant to Town Code Section 213A3. And the application is also in character with the established industrial land uses in the surrounding area. The new site layout will feature a total of 54 loading docks to the north and south sides of the building to serve multiple tenants. Access will utilize the existing driveway and provide for a new ingress-only driveway that's intended to be used for truck access to the northern loading docks. The parking layout will also be modified. The site has been designed to allow for a total of 280 parking stalls, inclusive of the land bank stalls, which TJ will go through in a moment, and 97 of which are proposed to be immediately built out. By way of background, we appeared before the Planning Board on May 13th of this year on the site plan application for this project. The hearing was closed and the Planning Board reserved decision. We submit that the project is consistent with the town zoning code, as warehousing and distribution are both permitted, and it also should be noted that the property is well suited to support the warehousing and distribution, as the subject site has a total acres of the 17.25, far exceeding the 1.5 required. Given the substantial size of the property, the site plan has been designed to provide more than enough area for the new warehouse and distribution use, as well as ample landscaping and screening along its property's lines. With regard to the landscaping, we're making improvements along New Horizons Boulevard to naturally screen the front yard parking stalls. And the application underwent a series of revisions. We worked very closely with the planning department to come up with the site plan that you see before you tonight. We note that New Horizons Boulevard, the existing landscaping berm near the southeast corner of the property, will be supplemented with shrubs, grasses, and arborvitae planted along the top of the berm. Another berm is proposed further north on New Horizons, the top of which will be planted with arborvitae. The front yard will be further enhanced with a total of 8 street trees to be provided along New Horizons, where only 5 are required. In addition to the new front yard landscaping, additional buffers and landscaping will be provided through the property, and trees will be planted along the southern property line and western rear yard. The 11 existing trees along the northerly rear yard will remain. We note that a 10-foot landscape buffer will be provided along the rear and side yards, and additional trees, shrubs, and grass areas will be planted throughout the site, which will screen the new loading stalls and associated site improvements from surrounding properties. With respect to the variances themselves, Given the landscaping improvements and buffers that will be included in the project, we submit that the requested variance relief for the overall landscape coverage of 27.3%, where 30% is required, is de minimis and will not have an impact on the surrounding area or be a detriment to any nearby properties. Similarly, the request for impervious coverage of 72.7% or 546,000 square feet, where 70% or 526,000 square feet is also insubstantial and will not create a detriment to the nearby properties. As will be discussed by our project engineers, variance relief is needed to accommodate the new warehouses and distribution use at the property, as the plan provides for 280 parking stalls, 54 loading docks, and site access and site circulation improvements, which includes a new driveway on New Horizons Boulevard with new internal roadway along the northeast portion of the property. A two-way traffic circulation plan along the eastern side of the building is proposed to provide efficient access to the loading docks and avoid conflicts with employee parking areas. We also note that the requested relief for the project is consistent with the board's precedent. For example, in the matter of Rockwell Industries International Corp., decided on July 13th of 2023, under ZBA application 23-90, variances were granted to allow impervious area of 72.5%, where 70% was permitted, and landscape areas of 27.5%, where 30% was required, for a one-story warehouse addition at 6,000 New Horizons Boulevard in Amityville also. In regard to parking, the site provides for 280 parking stalls, which will be located in the area fronting New Horizons Boulevard and along the perimeter of the property. 97 stalls will be paved to meet the needs of the warehouse tenants at the property. As will be described for in a moment, the number of paved parking stalls will be more than sufficient to satisfy the maximum parking demand at the property. And an additional 183 land bank stalls are provided to accommodate a higher than average parking demand if necessary to allow flexibility for future tenants. We note that the parking variance relief has been granted for other warehouse facilities, such as the matter of Acadia Republic Farmingdale LLC, ZBA case number 23-90, decided on July 13th of 2023, where 262 stalls were required and 97 were approved, which involved the property at 1300 Broad Hollow Road in Farmingdale. The property in its existing condition currently includes 40 parking stalls in the front yard, and the nearest stall setback is a distance of 74.4 feet from New Horizons Boulevard property line. As proposed, a total of 112 stalls will be within the 150-foot front yard parking setback, 77 of which are intended to be built out, and remaining stalls will be land banked. Here, the closest paved stall will be 74.4 feet from New Horizons, which is no change in the existing conditions, and the nearest land bank stall is located only slightly closer to the front yard property line, as it will be set back 72.6 feet from New Horizons Boulevard. Further, as previously noted, the new landscaping that will be provided in the front yard, consisting of street trees, shrubs, and berms topped with arborvitae, will improve existing conditions and further screen the parking area along New Horizons. So with that as a backdrop, I'd like to call Mr. TJ Wilkinson from Bowler, who will further discuss the variances in the site plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. TJ Wilkinson with Bowler Engineering, 275 Broad Hollow Road in Melville, New York.
Do you affirm to tell the truth?
I do. So I'll just touch on some of the site improvements that Mr. Brown alluded to. We're proposing a screen wall in front of the new southern loading area, which will match the building facade and be planted with arborvitaes in front to screen the new loading activities from view from New Horizons Boulevard. The new northern driveway, in addition to improving access for potential tenants on the north and south ends of the building, also removes a dead end on the site's ring road and improves emergency vehicle access for the site. As Mr. Brown mentioned, we're proposing 97 paved stalls at the southeast corner of the building, including 60 that already exist today and an additional 37 proposed in the area of the southeast corner of the building that is to be demolished. We're also proposing an additional 183 throughout the site, as you can see on the plan behind you, in the four corners of the building to accommodate the potential access for future tenant spaces for a total of 280 spaces. Just regarding the requested variances, I'd like to note that the added parking in the front yard is no closer to the road than the existing parking. The front yard dimension is simply being reset by the demolition of that southeast building corner from about a 77-foot setback to a 202-foot setback. So all we're essentially doing is replacing that existing structure with parking. The minimum landscape buffer, as Mr. Brown mentioned, will be about 72.6 feet, which is what exists today, well above the 45-foot landscape setback that the code requires. The existing landscaping along New Horizons Boulevard will be supplemented, including a new 7-foot high planted berm at that southeast building corner. And the existing berm that's further south will remain and have additional plantings added on top. In addition to the site's frontage, mature vegetation along the side and rear yards will remain and be supplemented along the perimeter of the ring road to enhance the aesthetic of the site further. Given the site is also on the outside of a curve, the property is naturally screened nicely from view along New Horizons Boulevard. And lastly, just to touch on the landscape and impervious surface coverage variances of 2.7%. Those are due to the land bank parking, the 180 land bank parking spaces we're requesting. If the 97 that we propose to build out right away are built, our true landscape coverage will be about 39%, which is well above the 30% minimum that the code requires. We're also proposing grading and drainage improvements, including additional dry wells to increase the stormwater capacity on the site. We'll be modifying fire hydrant locations to ensure we're fully fire code compliant. And any new pavement areas will be equipped with LED dark skies compliant lighting. And unless the board has any questions, I can now turn it over to our traffic engineer.
Any questions?
Yes. First question, can you confirm that the requested variances will not affect by any changes made when the site plan requested by the planning board application?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Second, what's the reason for all the land banked parking?
So essentially, our client is not 100% certain who the end tenant will be in this building at this point. So as our traffic engineer will speak to, we feel the 97 parking spaces that are proposed to be built out are adequate based on ITE data for a typical warehouse and distribution user. It's really in the event that there are multiple tenants that end up in this building and we need additional parking that's more in line with front door access locations for those tenants. So you can see the building would be split into potentially into 4 different quadrants. So we wanted to, in the event that that split of the building happens, we want to be able to have ADA access and parking that's in the area of where those building entrances would be.
So do you see on the screen where the arrow is, this is really the only parking you have available?
At the current moment, yes.
At the current moment. Would you be open to more parking to the right of it, on the front?
Could I just add though, the additional parking space, right where the cursor is now, that's being added. So where the building was, that's the area where the old building was, essentially, it's, as TJ said, it's going to be.
And you feel that's enough parking for if you do get 3 tenants, or will you open those other parking spots when you get more tenants?
If the need is necessary, then we will. We have to come back to the planning board in order to open up those spots. Those spots in particular are going to be very close to the front door.
Okay.
But if you could pull up the color rendering, it shows a lot better.
I think I have it here.
It's going to be, and TJ, if you want to go through it.
This one though, correct?
Yeah. So you can see on that, in order to mask the loading docks from New Horizons as you're coming around the bend, it's also on the inverse side, of the bend. So you see very little frontage of the site as you come around New Horizons. And this industrial park, as I explained to the planning board, I mean, it's one of the nicest industrial parks on Long Island. It's more akin to Hopog Industrial Park, where it doesn't look like an industrial park because there's such large lawn areas in front. So where you see, if you take the cursor in between the loading dock and where the new parking is going to be, that right there, nope, to the right. I'm sorry, my laser pointer died. But just to the right of it, there's going to be a screening wall with plantings in front of it. So you won't see the loading docks as you're coming down New Horizons.
Okay. I did drive by. There was work being done inside the buildings, demolition crews, and I saw like a some kind of a construction vehicle. Could have been a payload or an excavator or something, or
They're not doing any substantial work. GKN has vacated, and I think what they're doing, because I drove past there also before the planning board and tonight, and it looks like they're just taking out some of the.
So was their work started already though?
No, but I saw that they were pulling some of the metal out and they were putting in the back.
I saw a huge pile of rocks as far as demolition, like in the middle. I can't confirm that it was, it was definitely material, but
Yeah, I don't think they're certainly not doing any major demolition work. I think they're just pulling out some of the infrastructure, some of the metal that was inside of the building, and they were stacking it in the back area where there's no driveway now. There's kind of a back corner. They were just piling up some of the metal.
oh no, I saw it inside,
Oh,
inside the building.
inside the building.
Yeah, that's where all the construction vehicles were and the demolition and the materials and stuff.
Okay, I didn't notice it when I drove past, but I'll inquire with them what's going on.
If you can get back to us.
Sure.
If this application is approved, do you agree to the 3 conditions on the planning memo?
Yes, and we went over that in detail with planning, especially as it related to land bank parking. I think it was comment 5 and 6.
It's actually, so let me just read them just so I had to take off my glasses. So the application has requested permission to land bank parking stalls if the need to develop said land bank parking arises as determined by the Town of Babylon Commissioner of Plan and Development. The applicant agrees to install said parking pursuant to the town's specifications and the approved site plan within 60 days, whereas agreed to by all parties. Do you agree to that? Also, infill of additional tenant spaces shall warrant the build out of land bank parking in the appropriate locations for such tenant spaces as determined by the Town of Babylon Commissioner of Plan and Development.
Yes.
And then outdoor storage of vehicles, trucks shall be limited to the areas as designated on the approved site plan.
Yes, which is, by the way, just so everyone's aware, is that northwest quadrant, the very upper part of the site, you see.
Okay.
Yep, up there.
Commissioner, I don't have any more questions.
Oh, and sorry, and further down too, there's another area for keeping storage of trailers on the other side of loading docks.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Great. Good? Okay, we're going to call Mr. Ethan Chakosky next.
Name and address for the record, please.
Ethan Chakosky, I'm with TPD Engineering, located at 275 Broad Hollow Road, Melville, New York.
Confirm to tell the truth?
I do. So we prepared a parking evaluation of the proposed development. As was mentioned, existing approximately 235,000 square feet, reducing the size of the building to 205,000 square feet approximately. Much of that reduction, it was discussed already, but on the southeast corner of the building, it's interesting to note that most of that space that they're removing is actually office space. My understanding is the core of this application is really to modernize this building to current warehouse, light industrial development, which requires a little less office space, a little less parking demand. We approached this, first of all, let me say that in my experience with these industrial type developments, we find that the parking demand is really tenant driven. It's not a retail tenant or maybe other commercial tenants, will kind of go in with whatever parking is available. That's not really how these businesses tend to operate. They're gonna work into their lease the amount of parking that they need for their operation. So I think that's important to understand when you're looking at developments such as this, and it's why they're leaving the flexibility for those additional stalls around the building and how they might subdivide the building based on tenant needs. But nonetheless, we did look at ITE, that's Institute of Transportation Engineers, published data for parking demand of this type of tenant. We looked at it in two different ways. There's a typical sort of average demand across many different types of users. We found that for the average warehouse distribution modern tenant, a demand of approximately 76 stalls would be sufficient, whereas we're providing 97, so about a 21% surplus. When we looked at the data for a higher demand tenant, who might require more stalls on average, we found that the 85th percentile of the IT parking demand would require 229 stalls on site. So that would be accommodated when you account for the land-based stalls that they're proposing. So in either case, the site can accommodate any expected parking demand for this type of user, in my professional opinion. I'm happy to answer any questions about that or any other questions you have.
Do you have an idea of what type of tenants will be in there, or not really? What normally type of tenants go into a warehouse this size?
Well, they are providing the flexibility by being able to divide it up, but really these days it's a lot of warehouse, a lot of local distribution. They usually have smaller offices, more storage, and more logistics.
But as of now, you don't have any tenants, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. I don't have any further questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to note, GKN actually left New York for another state. And to answer your question, we're not sure, as previous testimony was, whether this will maintain as one single tenant or 4 tenants, but it at least gives us the flexibility that when they go out to the market, they can decide, based on the tenant use and who's interested in using the site, could then be able to. So we have one more person here, is Brian Richter. I got his name right. Brian's with BLD Associates. BLD prepared the elevations and some of the computer sims. And unless you don't need to hear from Brian, he's here to answer any questions. If you want to see the sims, it's up to you.
Just one question before he comes up. You see that the arrow is placed on the screen?
Yes.
So if you do have a tenant there, would you automatically now open those land bank parking spaces for them, or do they have to go all the way around to where the front parking is?
Again, it's going to be tenant driven. So the little boxes that are in each quadrant is where the offices are. So yeah, I think that would be a far walk around the building, but it'll be between, the owners, WP Carey, and the tenant to decide that. And if they do want to open up that land bank parking in that quadrant, they would come back to the planning board to do so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Okay. Brian, you're off the hook. All right. So just to conclude, we respectfully submit that the subject application should be granted for the following reasons. Repurposing the property for the new warehousing and distribution use will not have a negative impact on existing traffic conditions or on-site parking. The development will also have no adverse impact on the adjacent property values or reasonable use of the adjacent parcels. And respectfully request the board approve the application as presented this evening. We do have one more stop. We have to go to the town board because unique to the town of Babylon code, when you have multiple tenants, you have to get town board relief. So that'll be our next stop. So on behalf of the client, thank you very much for your time and consideration.
For the record, do you want something regarding the work?
I'm actually curious about the work that they're doing inside at the moment, because when I drove by, just to...
Yeah, can we get something back to us, a letter or something back to the zoning office, what's being done there now?
Sure. Who do you want me to communicate that to?
You can submit it through the portal.
Okay. Very good.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to close the hearing, we're going to reserve decision, we'll wait for that letter that you're going to send to us, and thanks for coming down, everybody, sorry, but we're good.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
You too.
You have a good night.
Next application is application 26-6 of Roberts Plywood, property located in Deer Park.
For the appellant, Tom Abate, ABBATE, I'm an attorney with offices at 88 Sunnyside Boulevard in Plainview.
For the record, we have a planning division memo dated April 10th, 2026. Environmental control memo dated February 27, 2026. If we were to approve this application, it would need a negative declaration. Fire marshal's report dated February 22nd. Refer to the planning board comments and new construction. And let's see, what else we got here? We got a survey by Delis Surveying dated April 29, 2025. Plans by Nelson and Pope dated September 20th, 2024. 21 photographs, and we have the affidavit of posting. Would you like to tell us about the application?
Thank you very much. So this is a continuation from the hearing we had before you on March 5th of this year. Very briefly recapitulated, because I know you're all familiar with it, we've got a 5.5 acre site at the confluence of North and West Industry Ave in Deer Park. It's in the GA industrial zone, and the main thrust of our proposal was to erect a second main building on the lot. The reason for that was very simple. While we abut the Long Island Railroad at the rear of the lot, we have a railroad spur right down the middle, and it's an active spur. And we utilize that spur for delivery of materials to the tenant of the building, Roberts Plywood, who deals in hardwoods and veneers, et cetera. That's how they get their supply to them. So we needed off-street parking relief, and at the conclusion of the hearing, Chairman Kane, you and Member Rigney asked us, do we store trucks on site? And frankly, we weren't sure. And Tom Farrell, the owner who was with us that night, said, well, wait, I'm going to report back to you, because he wants to do everything by the book, by the letter. And indeed we do. So he immediately had Christopher Voorhees, our project engineer, redraw the site plan to show where we'll be storing trucks outdoors. It's on the side of the premises. And what that did for us is that under our code, we actually have to park for outdoor storage. We have to park at a rate of 1 stall for every 700 square feet. So when I was here before you in March, we were required to have 141 stalls, and we were providing 89. Well, we're still providing 89 stalls, but now we need 8 more. So the magnitude of the off-street parking variance increased solely by that number. However, you had our report from Osman Barry, our traffic expert from Nelson and Pope. He immediately amended his report vis-a-vis this increase in technical requirement. And what he noted is that because it is just the storage of trucks, it does nothing to increase trip generation. The use itself is very low intensity. So his conclusion in his report, which was uploaded for you on the portal on March 17th, was that his conclusions that we have a surplus of parking and will have a surplus of parking, even if this application is granted in toto, remains, that we will not have a problem. The area of the outdoor storage is 5,280 square feet, and it is in the area that we had previously designated for loading. Not much more I can elaborate about that, Chairman Kane, unless you and the board have any questions.
I have one question for you. Will this requested variance you have affect anything with the site plan you guys made already?
Well, yeah, we amended the site plan to show where we're storing the trucks.
Okay. Everything's the same?
Everything else is exactly the same.
Hours of operation, I mean, the public's going to be there? I mean,
Correct. The hours of operation, the way we've redesigned it to primarily have one-way parking. We've got a two-way in the front where we have shared access with our neighbor. Everything that we've shown in the site plan, but for designating the outdoor storage of trucks, remains the same.
Okay. If this application was approved for 1 year with certification of occupancy, and you approve the 2 lots be merged?
Yes, of course.
I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from the board?
I'm curious, do you need is there any kind of relationship between you and the railroad or the owner of the rails that needs to be addressed?
So very interesting. Giovanni Coelho, our project architect, did reach out to the Metropolitan Transportation Authority because originally we wanted to enclose the whole thing, and they had no objection whatsoever. We are not interrupting or interfering with the MTA's use of that spur. The canopy is strictly over it, and it's not enclosing it. The plan does call for a canopy. It's recited in our application and in the memo, but we don't need relief for it. But we did indeed check with the MTA, and they were fine
Nobody
with it.
drives over it, or it's not a crossing?
Oh, no, the canopy is just,
I mean, on the road. Is there no roadway that goes in between?
oh, no, there's no roadway. It's strictly a rail spur that comes through our property.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. Good. Good.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to add to approve application 26
I'll make a motion to approve and adopt the negative declaration on application 26-6.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
In that fact, I'd like to approve application 26-6 with the approval for 1 year with the issue of a certificate of occupancy with the following conditions of merging Suffolk County Tax Map 0100-68-1-8.001 and .004.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you all very much.
Time's a charm.
Yes, thanks very much. We appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Good night now.
This can
That ends the live streaming portion of our